Hi everyone, welcome back to Operation Occupation. My name is Eira McNamee and today we're going to talk about the occupation of hanging out the laundry. So first of all, we need to do our activity analysis. As always, we're going to think about the steps involved in this activity and break it down, and then we're going to think about what parts of the activity the person we're supporting can achieve. Next, we need to make our plan, and when we're making our plan, we're going to be very realistic and think about the parts of the activity that the person will be able to achieve. We can also think about the parts of the activity that are most motivating for the person or that the person is most interested in. When we're breaking the activity down, we can look at the areas where we can adapt it to make it a little bit easier, and also look at the areas where we can introduce an aid to support the person to become more independent. Then we need to plan what we need. So for this activity, we will need wet clothes, obviously. We will also need a laundry basket, some pegs, and a washing line or a clothes horse that can be used outside. Then we can think about aids or equipment that can further support the person to be independent with the task. If the person is going to be participating in the aspect of the activity where they'll be using a clothes peg, then you may need to consider the best type. Larger pegs can sometimes be easier to manipulate, and they're also really useful if you're supporting the person with hand-over-hand assistance. Similarly, if the person's hand strength is not sufficient for a regular peg, you may need to look at a peg without a spring or a peg with a softer spring. You can link with your OT for further support around this. Next, we need to think about the clothesline that we use. If the person is able to complete the activity safely in standing, then a regular clothesline may be suffice. If the person is a wheelchair user or needs to complete the activity in sitting, then we may look at using a clothes horse outside or using a height adjustable clothesline. If the person is using a clothes horse outside, it may need to be weighed down to keep it in place. We should also consider the placement of the laundry basket. Often having this on the ground can make it very difficult to continuously reach for clothes and can really challenge our balance. Therefore, we should consider propping it up by placing it on a chair beside us outside or using a laundry trolley to make it easier for the person to access. It's also really important to consider the contents of the washing basket. If this is the person's first time hanging out the washing, then we need to make sure that the activity is achievable and ensure there aren't too many items in the basket. So we might just start with 1 or 2 items in the washing basket and build that up slowly over time. We should also think about the types of items in the basket. So are they recognisable to the person? Are they their own clothes, for instance? Are they small or large items? So sometimes smaller items like socks require a lot more coordination and can be a little bit more difficult to manage, whereas larger items like towels or t-shirts can be easier to get on the line and secure with the peg. As mentioned in previous Operation Occupation videos, visual schedules or sequences can be really useful when a person is learning a new activity. We've provided an example of one of these on the CT library, which is accessible to everyone. It's also important, if you have any questions around supporting a person with communication, that you check their communication matrix or link with your SLT. In this example, the person does not require any setup supports as they're able to complete the activity as normal, but they do require supervision, and that can be provided for a number of different reasons. It may be to verbally prompt the person to move on to the next step in the activity. If you're using verbal prompts, it's important to work towards phasing those out and replacing them with visual prompts instead. So that might be using the visual sequence that we talked about earlier. Supervision may also be in place to promote safety or to provide a time check. So for example, supporting the person to slow down to ensure that they're not rushing through the activity and putting themselves in danger. Next, we're going to talk about actually doing the activity and the different types of supports and examples of supports that can be provided depending on the person's needs. As you can see here, this person required setup with the activity. So I've placed the laundry basket on a chair and I've set up the clothes horse for the person, and I can then walk away and leave the person to complete the activity independently. In this example, the person is sitting down, or this may also be applicable to a wheelchair user. So again, we're going to need to think about the placement of that laundry basket. Here the person held that on their lap and were able to hang the clothes up from there, but in most cases that laundry basket may need to be placed on a chair beside the person or on another surface to make it easier for them to access the clothes. In this example, the person may need a little bit more support with the activity. So in this example, the person is stabilizing the item on the line while the carer or the support worker places the peg on to secure it. And this could be done in the opposite way or in lots of other ways. So the person could maybe place the item on the line and the carer then stabilizes it and puts the peg on, or the person could be the one to put the peg on. This all depends on the person themselves, what they're interested in and what they're able to do. This is a lovely example of where hand-over-hand assistance can be used. So in this example, the person is being supported to squeeze the peg and place it on the line, and this is really beneficial as the person really feels part of the activity. In this example, the person may not be able to or may not want to engage in the previous steps we've discussed, so this is another way to include them in the activity. So one way might be that the person holds the basket and is involved in choosing which item of clothing is placed on the line next. Or alternatively, the person can hand the carer or the support worker the next item to hang on the line. It's really important at all levels of hanging out the washing that the person is encouraged to be part of the sensory experience. So this includes looking at all the lovely colours in the washing basket, supporting the person to smell the detergent, to feel the different textures in the basket, the wet clothes, and also to encourage the person to hold the weight of the laundry, as that can provide a form of calming deep pressure too. As mentioned earlier, please do visit the Operation Occupation folder on the CT Library, where you'll find lots of resources in relation to hanging out the laundry, but also some goal setting tools and occupational checklists to support you to identify new activities to participate in. If you need further support or have any OT queries, please don't hesitate to contact us by phone or by email, and do check in with us and let us know how you're getting on. We'd love to see your pictures and videos. We're really looking forward to next week's activities. So next week we're going to focus on the occupations of brushing teeth and planting wildflowers. So please do join us and we'll see you soon.